Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to join me for another video. I hope you're having an awesome Thursday. In today's video, I'm going to go over the top 15 options at tight end. I also have 15 defenses with a bonus for you in this one. My goal is to get you everything you need to make the best decisions possible. Hopefully go out and get a dub in a crucial week 16. With that said, help me help you by dropping your questions down below. I love to answer you guys. I usually get back in a reasonable amount of time and give a pretty detailed response as well, trying to give you the whys behind the information I am giving you. If you haven't been here before, please consider subscribing to the channel. Relentless Press is trying to get to our first 1,000 subscribers. You can be a part of that by hitting that button. And if you find yourself enjoying the content, a like on the video is greatly appreciated as well. Make sure you keep an eye out. I have updated ranking shorts. I drop them both on TikTok and on YouTube. And those have any adjustments that I make after getting new information during the middle of the week. I'm going to drop those on Friday night this week because we have games on Saturday. Without any further ado, let's hop into week 16's tight end rankings. My number one tight end of the week is Travis Kelce. He got back into the top 5 with authority against the Texans. He caught all 10 of his targets for 105 yards. I think he has week winning potential against a Hawks defense that's allowing the second most points per game to the position at over 14 per game. Tier 2 starts with George Kittle, who finally had that monster game that owners have been waiting for. He cashed in on his 5 targets to the tune of 93 yards and a pair of scores. Slight concern here because no one is harder on the position than Washington is, but Kittle is going to remain a big part of what the 49ers do on offense, and I think he's just fine because of it. Number 3 is Mark Andrews. I think he drops quite a bit if Lamar Jackson can't go, but for now I have him as a great option in this matchup with Atlanta, even with his recent struggles. The Falcons have not stopped the position all season long. They allow the 4th most points per game to tight ends. Into tier 3 we go. TJ Hockenson sits atop it. He's seen 17 targets in his last 2 games, and he remains one of the most heavily targeted tight ends in the entire league. The Vikings offense caught fire in the second half against Indy. They will continue to put Hockenson in positions to succeed. To 5, and it is Pat Freiermuth sitting there. He finally scored a touchdown for the first time since week 2, and he should be able to keep the momentum in a top 10 matchup with the Raiders. Freiermuth is averaging almost 8 targets per in his last 4 games. He has 3 top 10 finishes in that span as well. Number 6, and new to the rankings back from injury, is Darren Waller, who returned to catch all 3 of his targets for 48 yards and a score. He posted the tight end 6 finish on the week. I think this has to instill enough confidence for managers to plug him in immediately, even in this difficult matchup with the Steelers. We have Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams both playing really well over the last month. That means that Waller is going to see plus matchups more than he's used to and capitalize on them. Tier 4 starts with Chigoziem Okonkwo. Think I got it down right now, and he has racked up 167 yards in his last 3 games, 2 of those being top 10 finishes. He is once again a solid option for owners looking for a safe floor, and he also offers some decent upside. His target numbers have been fine, and they've been consistent in this low volume passing attack for Tennessee, so I am buying it. To number 8, Evan Engram is there. He gets the Jets on the road, and he has caught fire over his last 3 weeks. He's recorded 32 targets for 254 yards and 3 scores. The Jets matchup here is one that I am not in love with, but Engram's usage should be enough to overcome it. At 9 is Dawson Knox. He travels to Chicago. He has to be considered a top 10 option after putting up 31 fantasy points over his last 2 games. Knox has racked up 15 targets for 139 yards and a pair of scores in that time, and the Bears do not have the defenders to slow him down. His usage has been up and down all season long, but if it shows up here, Knox will have a shot at his 3rd straight top 5 finish. Tier number 5 starts with Dalton Schultz, who rounds out my top 10. He went from 10 targets in week 14 to just 4 last week as he fell flat on his face, catching 2 balls for a measly 15 yards. Schultz has been reliable since getting healthy and having Dak at the controls here, so I am betting for a bounce back game from him in a huge showdown with Philly. David Njoku is at 11. He did not hit as expected last week, falling victim to a mediocre Deshaun Watson. He has still scored in 2 of 3 though, and with 22 targets in his last 3 games, it is tough to find other options with this amount of talent and opportunity. Gerald Everett is the last tight end one I have in week 16. He has at least 6 targets in 3 straight games. I am buying that volume in a really good offense. Everett has just 1 double-digit point game since week 4, so you have to take that into consideration when plugging him in. My lucky number 13 is Juwan Johnson, who does nothing but score touchdowns. He has 7 in his last 7 games, 4 top 4 finishes in that span as well. At a position that needs it more than anywhere else, Johnson provides scoring upside and is worth a start even in this bottom 8 matchup. Tier 6 starts with Noah Fant, who is going to see some added usage with Tyler Lockett going down, and he's already posted a pair of top 7 finishes in his last 3 games. I think Fant is a safe bet for 5 targets or more against the Chiefs. Greg Dulcich is the last tight end I am looking at. He face planted in an awesome matchup last week, but he does get the benefit of the doubt for now with the potential turn of Russell Wilson. Dulcich has 2 tight end 1 finishes in his last 3 weeks, so as long as the volume is there against LA, he will put up a decent stat line. A couple tight ends who just missed the cut here include Cole Kmet against Buffalo and Tyler Conklin against Jacksonville. Before we hop into defenses, make sure you like the video if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done it already. And now week 16's defenses are up next. At the top of tier 1, I have the San Francisco 49ers in a home matchup with Washington. They've been playing lights out. Nobody wants to face them. I think they do damage here again. At 2, it is the Buffalo Bills traveling to Chicago. They will bounce back after a tough week against one of the best offenses in the NFL. I know that Justin Fields is a problem, but defenses facing the Bears have scored the 4th most points per game on this season. To tier 2, Denver leads it off. They get the Rams on the road, and my 4th ranked defense are the Baltimore Ravens at home against Atlanta. Rounding out my top 5 are the Tennessee Titans, always a great matchup playing against Houston, and at 6 it is the Tampa Bay Bucs on the road against Arizona. They have not produced for owners over the last 3 weeks, I get that, but it is going to change in a plus matchup against the Cardinals here because we don't know who's playing quarterback for Arizona. It also helps that the Cardinals are absolute garbage at home, and the Bucs need a win in the worst way to stay in the division race. I think the defense steps up here and delivers. Tier 3 starts with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at 7 against Seattle. And at 8, I have the Los Angeles Chargers on the road against Indianapolis. They are my waiver pickup of the week for a reason. They get an Indy team here surrendering the most points to defenses this season. Matt Ryan has been benched yet again. The Colts are going to be without Jonathan Taylor, so all signs point to a big performance from LA. In at 9, I have the Cleveland Browns at home against New Orleans, and the Cincinatti Bengals round out my top 10. They travel to New England. My 11th ranked defense sits atop tier 4. It is the Detroit Lions on the road against Carolina. I think they match up really well with what the Panthers are going to try to do on offense. Detroit has actually been the best team on a per run basis, stopping it. They're averaging under 3 yards per carry allowed in the last 3 weeks. That's all Carolina can do, so Detroit should have a solid game. To 12, it is the Philadelphia Eagles. They travel to Dallas, and in the same game, I have the Cowboys defense at 13. I think both of these guys are decent options in this NFC East showdown. I lean Philly because their offense is a step above what Dallas brings to the table. Each team was also a top 18 play when these guys met up back in week 6, so they should have a decent floor. If Dallas does not have to face Jalen Hurts in this one, they would jump to a tier 3 team. My 14th ranked defense are the Los Angeles Rams. They get Denver at home. And my 5th and final tier starts with the New York Jets at home against Jacksonville. I am going to throw you guys a bonus pick because I think there is plenty of upside here. It's my Minnesota Vikings at 16, which may seem like a crazy choice considering they just gave up 36 points to the Colts. But Minnesota was robbed not of just one defensive touchdown, but a pair of them, and they should have posted a top 5 finish last week. The Giants offense certainly does not scare me, and Daniel Jones is prone to turnovers as well, so I think the Vikings defense could surprise. A couple of teams that just missed the cut include the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road against the Jets, the New Orleans Saints in that matchup with Cleveland, and the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against Vegas. And that's everything I got. Really hope you guys enjoyed the content today. I hope you learned something that you can use to make better decisions this week. Go after that dub and push for your championship. Drop your questions down below, like the video if you have not done so already, and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss a thing, because that would be a complete and utter shame. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Chigoziem Okonkwo, and I will see you next time.